Okay, let's save a whole bunch of time. This is step 9 of the Solomon banner. Steps 2 was Eros for the guaranteed. Step 5 was Dark Tierfing for the guaranteed. There were a few 5 stars other than that, but mostly just normal pool stuff. Otherwise, nothing really that great. Here is the guaranteed Solomon. And other than that, there's nothing really that good in this banner. So overall, not a great result. I mean, it doesn't really matter because, the main draw of the banner is the guarantee, and it exists as the contingency plan for when your luck is just not there at all. You still get to walk away with the unit. So as you can see, nothing else besides the guaranteed Solomon. So I have her now, and all is well. So let's go ahead and jump into the rest of the video. Hello and welcome, this is Alchemistexe, and this is the banner overview for the week of October 6th. It took a while to get this out. It's been a very, very busy week, but I've been looking forward to this week because Solomon, the unit that I've been looking forward to for a while, finally came out. It was not a fake out this time. So her Memento, and that's pretty much it. The banners are going to be pretty self-explanatory, and I did want to cover a couple of things before getting into them. The first of which was going to be just about Vettel. There's also several other good units such as Bud, Magnus, Shayna, and there's some other good challenge boards too. But of them, I think Vettel is by far the highest priority. If you do not already have him set up, 100% worth your time. A very, very good unit that can keep you alive in hell maps. Mostly for his ability to cover other units and take damage for them. And then he's also borderline immune to slash damage once you've got him properly built. His Job Plus event is running for the rest of the week. And if you haven't used the perfect training voucher yet that was given out, I think it was September 29th, something like that, he is definitely a good option if you don't want one of the limited mementos that come with either Daisy, Hazel, or Nika. If you don't have one of those, you might be better off grabbing that. But if you don't use any of those units or you're not worried about it, the ability to get Vettel completely kitted out might be worth it. So aside from that, the Mystic Tower Mobius is running. It's running for a few weeks, and it is a multiplayer tower. I've thought it was worth talking about because it has not rerun in quite some time. So you'll find it under the Babel Tower under Challenges, and this is made for 2 people. Each person puts in 2 units and then can have a sub. You'll find that the first, probably, at the very least first half, probably a little more than that, maybe first 2/3 of the tower or so are going to be pretty easy because the tower is quite old in its earliest iterations. I think it started out as 20 floors and they started adding either 5 or 10 floors at a time, and now it's up to 55. Sadly, a lot of the gem prizes have been replaced with rainbow shards, and I think that's kind of a bummer. It's not a good look for Gumi because it's so very, very stingy. But even with that reduced value, there's still a lot of things you can get from it, including a unit you can only get from the tower named Guilfred. He's like a magic knight type of unit, M attack, scaling, slash damage. A couple good things he has going for him, that he scales off M attack, and then he's also a fire unit, and fire is just a very, very strong element. You can get both him, his shards, his exclusive enlightenment materials, and then his memento, all from this tower. Most of it can be soloed, but I would recommend, if you're either having hard time due to lack of certain units raised, or just difficult floors in general, I recommend the Alchemist Global Discord because the game itself just does not have enough effective means of communicating, and some of these maps require a large amount of coordination. So Discord is definitely the best option when it comes to that, unless you have a friend that you play with in person. But overall, I'm glad to see Mobius again, even if it is somewhat diminished by the lack of gems. So that was all I wanted to talk about before getting into the banners. So let's go ahead and jump into that. And here we are at the banners. So there is a whole host of paid banners, and whether or not they're worth it would really depend on how much you value Phantom of the Kill units, because there are a lot of them. There's a potential to get a lot of shards of the different characters, one of which you can reroll 7 times, but you only get 77 shards, or 3 sets of 77. There's another one where you're guaranteed one, and if it's dupe, it's 150, but they are all fairly dicey, so I don't recommend them unless you're a really big POTK person. I think for most people, if you have any interaction with paid gems at all, I think now is a good time to hold on to them and wait until the anniversary, because I think that's when really, good stuff is going to show up. So as far as getting Solomon goes, there is a 3-step, which I don't recommend, and a 9-step, which I would recommend. The 9-step is not going to be pictured here because, as you would have seen at the very beginning of this video, I have done it already and got Solomon. However, the structure is going to be exactly the same as the Minerva and Hercule one. So guarantee you get the unit on step 9. Steps 2 and 5 have a guaranteed POTK unit, and otherwise that's that. It's definitely not bad as far as gem prices go, especially when you compare it to like a 5-step unlimited character. So I always like that better than just having to just rely on an absurd amount of luck or just transmute as a consolation prize. So in the case of Solomon, while you cannot get shards of her in the Louis shop, once you've acquired her, you can buy shards of her in the secret shop. So if you're looking to get her as lightened as possible, that is also a good use of gems. So next up, there are the voucher banners. There is one for units and one for, that's not it, one for mementos, and they have the same structure. Just they guarantee a 5-star in each step, and they gave a bunch of vouchers. They're a pretty good style of banner overall. It's kind of a toss-up whether or not you would want to go for it, because if you're going for Solomon, you'd probably better off spend your gems on that. And if you're not worried about Solomon, the anniversary, as I mentioned earlier, is not far away, so I don't know if running towards a gem sink like this is going to be the best idea just in that context, but just in a vacuum, it's not a bad banner style. There is one very, very important thing to be aware of, though, is that both of them don't have anything newer than July of this year. So I'll put links in the description, one for the unit update history and one for the Memento update history. So if there's something that you would have wanted that's more recent, you can't get it this way, and that would vastly diminish the value of these banners. So that's it for what is new this week. And then if you are a big global person, especially if you say wanted Dark Roxanne's Memento, that's around for the rest of this week too. But other than that, that is pretty much it. Oops, not quite it. One more thing, quick edit cut in here. I forgot to talk about the 5-step Memento banners for both Solomon and the shared Memento of Minerva and Hercule. Not a whole lot to say here. Guaranteed on step 5. Definitely not a bad price if you're going for one of those units or have one of them already but never got their Memento. Definitely a good chance to do that. If you want to be the most optimal with your gems, I would wait until next week because it'll be around for an extra week and you can apply another discount ticket to it and lower the cost a little bit. But otherwise, that is it. So if you are summoning this week, I wish you good luck. And hopefully, if you're going for Solomon, you didn't have to go to step 9 like I did. And I will see you all next time.